Welcome to Compai's Expat channel. I am Compai. I am Susua's voice of reason, where I talk everything expat. To flip or not to flip. Welcome to Compai's Expat channel. Everything expat. All right, guys, a lot of people are asking me, John, I've seen some videos about your fellow YouTubers talking about flipping. What's the deal with flipping? So let's define what flipping is. When you flip a property is when you buy it at a lower price, you throw some money into it, you rehab it, you redo it, then you sell it quickly. That's what they call a flip. It was very prominent back in 2004, 5, 6, 7. A lot of guys were flipping. I know a lot of guys myself who were into flipping. I know most of those guys lost their ass flipping. I am not a flipper. I've been doing real estate since I was 20. I would buy distressed properties, I would fix them up, and I would hold them. What I would not do is try to flip them, fix them up, sell them real quick. I played the long game, not the short game, and that's what flippers, the whole theory is playing the short game, capitalizing on the fear of missing out in real estate. I'm going to bring the flipping North American mentality into Sosua. And one of the things that I really want people to understand is that if you're going to be a flipper, you really need to know the market you're buying in, where you intend to sell in. Just because you can get a piece of property cheap doesn't mean you can flip it successfully. I've seen more people fail at flipping than people who succeeded. The key is to flipping. There's a time to do it if you want to do it. Guys, I'm not a big fan of flipping. I think flipping is like playing the stock market. To me, it's like buying futures. You're rolling your dice that in the future, you're going to be able to sell that property quick enough to make profit, because the longer you sit on that property, the more money you're going to lose. And that's, God forbid, if the market does a downturn. So let's talk about first things first. When do you get into flipping? The first thing you got to understand is the market. Where is the cycle of that real estate bubble? Is it at the bottom, where prices are cheap? Then the bubble inflates, and then you get a peak, and then it starts going down until you get a bubble burst, a market crash. 2008 is the perfect example of this. A lot of guys I know, like I said earlier, got into it in 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If they weren't out of those properties by 2007, they lost them. They couldn't afford to pay the mortgages that they had on them. They had too many properties to carry. Seen more real estate investors lose their tail doing this than anything else. It's speculation. You got to know the market. You got to know the prices of how to get things fixed. You got to have the right people. You got to have the right contractors that show up on time. There's a lot more that goes into flipping than just buying and selling. Now, myself, I'm a buy and hold guy. That's pretty much my safety factor. That's what I'm comfortable doing. So let me give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. I'm going to pull up a picture here. I'm going to go in picture. So, okay. I wonder how many people will recognize this property. This was my second to last project. It was my third project here in the Dominican Republic. Guys, that's Casa de Compai the day I bought it. Yeah, that's what it looked like the day I bought it. You can see the small building to the left that has the 2 studios and a 2-bedroom up top. There's no pump house. There's no pool. There's no 3-story building. You have 2 studios to the right. I knocked that building down. You don't even recognize the gate. It looks totally different today. I have all the confidence in myself to take an old property and redo it. What is the hard thing to do is take an old property, restore it to where somebody wants to buy it, and to restore it effectively and turn a profit on it. The other thing that I'm comfortable doing is shopping for the right properties. Just because you can get it cheap doesn't mean you can flip it. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to bring Sosua market back into this. I know guys that did a couple flips in the garden condos. I know guys who've done restoration projects in, let's say, Hotel Europa. I know guys that have done restoration projects in La Molata, and I know guys who have done restoration projects in Residencial Hispaniola. 2 out of the 2 were successes. The other 2 were failures. And let me get into one of the key points about flipping. I do not promote the idea of flipping. Let me just get that out there. If you're going to say, John, I'm going to come down to the Caribbean and I want to be a flipper, I'm going to say, don't do it. It's going to be the first thing out of my mouth. Don't do it, because this is not a flipping market. I'm not saying people haven't done it successfully. They're the exception to the rule. The people that I know who did it successfully have done it in a gated community, Residencial Hispaniola, the garden condos. They were already well-established condo complex in a gated community. They already had their value in place. They were already established as a positive, safe investment. What these people did, they found that one unique property that was distressed where the owner had to sell. And then they swooped in, got that deal, put money into it, then were able to resell it because the demand for that gated community and that condo complex was already high. Now, why do I say do not come down here and be a flipper? Because those deals are not going to go to the people that are outside of Sosua. We're going to get first dibs on them because of the network here. I've had guards in the garden condo go, yo, John, whatever number, this number, the guy needs to unload it. He was telling me today. He's selling, and he needs to sell quickly. That's how you get deals here. You don't get deals by being in America, because this is all word of mouth. This is all being in the right place at the right time with the right network. That's where you're going to make your best deals. I had a buddy him and his wife picked up a distressed property in Residencial Hispaniola. It was one of these villas that the guys were just renting it out to the weekend warriors, and they destroyed the house. They ran it into the ground. Even the landscaping was horrible. He was able to get it for a deal, fixed it up. Now it's a beautiful home for him and his wife. Now he's not going to sell it, so that doesn't technically make him a flipper. But that's how you get the good deals. That's what you need to, if you're going to be that flipper, you got to know what areas to flip in. Back in America, it's usually where you have certain areas that are on the verge of people of wealthier means coming into that area that's more distressed and buying up multiple properties. That's what's driving that market up. We don't have that here. We don't have that gentrification, however you say that word. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not the most well-articulated speaker out there. There's a lot of other polished guys. I'm just the fat guy. I'll give it to you straight. So you have a lot of guys that will go into the areas that are on the border of a prosperous area, go into the distressed part of town, and start buying them up. That's how the majority of flipping happens in the States. I know guys that bought houses in low-income areas for tens of thousands of dollars and sold them for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know guys who I had a client tell me this last week that, yeah, I was doing some buying and selling in Atlanta, and I couldn't hold on to the properties through the 2008 recession. I lost them. Now those houses that I paid $40,000 for are selling for $400,000 and up. What a turnaround. So that's when the flipping works. Myself, I don't have the intestinal fortitude to do it. That's not how I like doing my projects. But what don't we have down here? We don't have that kind of makeup down here. Also, we're not a loan-based real estate market. What I mean by this, you don't have everybody buying properties with mortgages. They're buying their properties cash. So you don't have a bubble that gets inflated like North America, like America. So that takes the banks unloading these houses out, that forces the property down. So how are you going to get a distressed property here? You're going to get it from somebody who's owned the house for a while. Sometimes you can even get it, guys, by the administration of a condo complex who have taken it back for not paying their dues. But usually that sale's already set up before that condo complex takes it back. There's already somebody who's involved in that who's going to buy it. So to come down here and get into that flipping, you don't have the volume of properties to flip. Unless you think you're going to be a flipper in Sosúa Bajo, Los Castillos, you going into these Dominican barrios. And guys, that is one of the biggest mistakes you're going to make because it's so easy to get into property here. It's very hard to get out. It takes a unique person to want to invest outside their home country. And it takes an even uniquer person to want to live in a Dominican barrio. I'm not one of them guys. I want to live in a gated community that has my value system, that has my way of life. I don't want to hear bachata at 2 at night. I don't want to hear screaming and yelling all day long. I want that HOA to imply its rules and regulations on everybody to have a better quality of life. So to find that person who's going to buy your property that you're trying to flip in a Dominican barrio is extremely tough sell. The longer people are down here, the more they realize two things. They go either way very quickly. I love the barrio. I'll live no place else, but most people go, I can't handle it anymore. I'm out of here. I've seen more people pack their bags, sell their property, and get out after 5 or 6 years. There's that line, that period in time where people just either you settle in or you settle out. It's that defined. So as that investor, you need to know the market where you're buying. You need to make sure the property you're getting is at a level to where you can improve it to be able to sell it quickly for a profit. That means you need to have good quality contractors. And let me tell you something. They're not as easy to find down here as you would think. Nothing like the States. A good quality contractor here can flip overnight and just not be worth his weight in salt anymore. Let me give you another example of what I'm talking about. Guys, I did my property in 4 years. I did this property in stages. Now, the building that you see in front on the screen now, the 3-story, I did that in 2017. I had a Swiss engineer, God rest his soul. Roland was one of the nicest, honest, hardworking men I've ever met on the island. He was very instrumental for my success down here. And it took me 5 years of networking, meeting the right people, learning the culture. My language skills weren't the best at that point. I don't claim they're the best now either. But I still had 5 years of sitting back, listening to people tell their stories, their what happened in their day-to-day lives when we would be out drinking. And all I did was keep my mouth shut, listen, and learn. And then the next day, ask questions. After the conversation was over, I got the information I wanted out of it. So I had that 5-year learning curve because this is the second property I bought. But I had one contractor who built the whole thing. He was more expensive than a lot of other people. But I knew from doing property since I was 20, the biggest thing is getting your property done on time, on budget, correctly. That's the goal. And when you're getting into flipping, all it takes is one repair you did not catch will wreck that profit. It will destroy your opportunity to make money, and you might even have a lemon on your hands. Because I know guys that went in, outbid one guy to get that flip, and the next thing you know, they had a foundation problem. And he basically just walked away from the house and took the hit on his credit rating and everything because he goes, I'm not putting another $60,000 into fixing this foundation. I can't make no money on it. So he walked away. So you have to be in tune to your contractors, and they're not easy to find down here, guys. So that's why I discourage anybody from coming down here to do flips. Now, I didn't flip this. This is my business. This is Casa de Compai. This is what this is. This is my livelihood right here, guys. You know, that's you know, I had to put the pool in. I've done everything on this particular property. And guys, it went, you know, this is what it looked like before. You know, this is the 2-bedroom and 2 studios. So it's totally different. Not everybody can do this. Not everybody has the money to do this. And that's the problem with a lot of flippers, is they want to get into this and they want to do it cheaply. You cannot do a project cheaply, especially down here in this climate. So let me get back to the point that I want to make is we don't have the amount of properties that are distressed in good enough areas for you to get them as cheap as you need to fix them up and sell them. So where does that leave people doing a lot of this? Your rundown condo complexes, Plaza Sosua, Hotel Europa, La Mulata for the villas. That's where it's happening. So if you're going to get into this, you really need to understand where you're buying, who your market is, who your contractors are going to be, what needs to be done, the price to get things done, and how much you can sell it for. Because, guys, there's no MLS here. Everything is social media based. And if you want to sell it through a real estate company, you need to go to every real estate company and sign a contract and list it through them. That's how it works. So even the means to offload your flip is tough. And to flip correctly, you buy it, fix it up, sell it quickly. That's how you make your profit. Like I said on my properties that I just showed you, I'm not a flipper. I buy and hold. I call myself a restorer or I remodel, depending on the project. I cut my teeth doing restoring cottage Victorians on the Jersey Shore. That was my passion, my love. I enjoy that. So, guys, a lot of people are talking flipping. Do not come down here and bet your future that you can come down here and get the volume of properties that you need to flip. A lot of guys down here, I'm also noticing, are trying to divide properties. When you divide properties, you're dividing your profit. Because if you need to buy more material to make 1 apartment, 2 apartments, you just cut your profit in half. I know that there's going to be people who disagree with me. The market is... The American market down here, they want more. They don't want less. So that means if you're going to bring in a certain client, if you're going to bring in a certain quality of property, you better have a clear, defined market that you're going to rent to, or you will lose your ass. So that's my 2 cents on flipping. Again, this is not a flipping market. I can't stress that enough, guys. If you're doing it, I wish you all the best of luck. I hope you are truly the exception to the rule, because let me make this as clear as I possibly can. Doing rental properties down here is not passive income. Doing rental properties down here is a lot of work. It may not seem like a lot of work. I work every day. I'm always answering questions. There's always something to fix. There's always somebody complaining about something, whether it's from John, I want 4 pillows, not 2. Hey, John, when's the rain going to stop? I mean, these are the questions I get asked. And a lot of them, are simple fixes, but it still takes up a lot of your time. Even my assistant, she's like, why does everybody ask me questions they already know the answers to? Because doing rentals in today's modern society, I call it the Alexa generation. Hey, John, what time is it? Hey, John, when's the electric coming back from the power company? It's the Alexa generation. They're so used to asking a question and getting an answer instead of thinking of a solution or finding the answer themselves. So, guys, even if you're getting into the flipping market, or even if you're buying properties to hold them for rental income, let me say this, rental income down here is the way to truly make money. Restaurants, bars, you might make a living, but you won't make wealth. There's a difference between working to live and living to work. I'm passing on generational wealth to my kids through my properties down here. My grandkids are going to be super set in life. But to be successful down here, it isn't the rental market. It is the rental market, 100%. But be prepared to work your ass off. Be prepared to crack some eggs once in a while. Be prepared to be frustrated. It is work. It's not passive. It's a lot of work, and you earn every dollar you make. So, guys, that's my 2 cents. I thank you for watching my channel. Guys, remember, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Again, let's get into the comments. I am so proud of my channel because we have the best comment section going. Super intelligent thoughts. But, guys, remember, keep personal private and private personal. Cheers.